What happens when two powerhouse women in entertainment clash over something deeply personal? What we witnessed between Trisha Yearwood and Kelly Clarkson was unlike anything we've ever seen on daytime television. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And by the end, one of country music's biggest stars was walking off stage in front of millions of viewers. But before you hear what really went down, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because this story will leave you speechless. The Kelly Clarkson Show was supposed to be an ordinary, feel-good promotional appearance for Trisha Yearwood. She came prepared to talk about her new cookbook, share a few warm insights about life with Garth Brooks, and maybe even treat the audience to a short melody. Kelly, always the enthusiastic host, had crafted her questions carefully, ones meant to highlight Trisha's charm, humor, and kindness. The audience buzzed with excitement, believing they were in for a wholesome, heartwarming interview. But as soon as Trisha walked onto the stage, something felt off. That signature bright smile seemed tight. The ease in her posture was missing, and there was a guarded look behind her eyes that only a seasoned performer like Kelly would notice instantly. Still, the interview began smoothly enough. Kelly praised Trisha's recipes, complimented the healthier twist she had added to classic Southern dishes, and asked thoughtful questions meant to draw out joy and inspiration. Then came the first unexpected shift. "You know, Kelly, cooking has always been my therapy," Trisha replied with a subtle edge in her voice. "When life gets complicated, when people start making assumptions about your personal life, the kitchen is where I find peace." Kelly paused, clearly sensing a detour from their planned conversation. The audience didn't catch it, but Kelly did. Hoping to steer things back on track, she gently transitioned into talking about Trisha's relationship with Garth, asking about the secret to keeping their marriage strong. That's when Trisha's expression changed, just slightly, but enough to signal something deeper was brewing. Her voice lowered, steady but sharp. "Well, Kelly, I think the real secret is respecting boundaries. Understanding that some things should remain private, especially when you're in the public eye." Kelly tried to soften the conversation, unaware she was walking into a storm that had been building for months. What began as a light interview was about to take a dramatic, deeply personal turn that neither host nor audience was prepared for. The shift in the studio atmosphere was impossible to ignore. Even viewers at home would later note the moment when Trisha's tone transformed the interview from friendly chatter to something far more loaded. Kelly sat up a little straighter, the warmth in her smile flickering as she tried to navigate the sudden tension. But Trisha wasn't finished. She leaned forward and delivered the accusation that stunned everyone watching. "You know what's not inspiring, Kelly? When talk show hosts start spreading rumors about people's marriages." The words fell like a bomb. Kelly blinked, thrown completely off balance. I'm sorry, Trisha. I'm not sure what you mean." But Trisha knew exactly where she was headed. Last month, Kelly had hosted a light-hearted celebrity photo analysis segment. Her producers pulled pictures from paparazzi sightings, and the audience enjoyed playful commentary about stars being spotted around town. What Kelly had assumed was harmless fun had unknowingly cut deep. "You spent 10 minutes dissecting a picture of me and Garth at a restaurant," Trisha continued, the frustration in her voice now unmistakable. "You wondered why we weren't sitting next to each other, why we weren't holding hands. You suggested we might be having problems, all because of one photo." Kelly's face reddened as she realized Trisha was right. She had said those things, but never with the intention of hurting anyone. "Trisha, it wasn't meant to be malicious. We were just having fun with the photos. I never meant to imply anything real about your marriage." "Intent doesn't matter when the damage is done," Trisha shot back. "My mother called me crying. My stepchildren asked me if something was wrong. Do you have any idea what that feels like?" Even the audience, usually lively and reactive, sat frozen in silence. It was no longer entertainment. It was real life viewed through the lens of two women who had reached a breaking point. Kelly swallowed hard, the weight of responsibility settling heavily on her shoulders. She tried to apologize again, but Trisha wasn't ready to let go. She vented years of pent-up frustration, not just at Kelly, but at an entire culture that treats celebrities' private lives like public playgrounds. By now, the storm had fully arrived, and the interview had spiraled into a confrontation unlike anything daytime television had aired in years. What made this moment even more powerful was that Trisha wasn't simply angry, she was hurt. and the audience could feel it. They watched as she described, with raw honesty, how years of commentary, speculation, and analysis had affected not just her career, but her sense of self. It's not just the marriage rumors, Trisha continued, eyes fixed on Kelly with unwavering intensity. You did a segment once about women in their 50s and body image. You had your nutritionist on the show, and you used my red carpet photos as examples. Kelly closed her eyes briefly, realizing exactly which episode Trisha meant. It had been framed as an empowering discussion about confidence and health, but seeing it now through Trisha's eyes, it was clear how easily the segment could have felt personal. Trisha, I was making fun of myself in that segment, my own struggles. Were you? Trisha cut in, her voice trembling with emotion. Because sitting at home watching it felt like you were using me to make a point. Like my body was something for your audience to examine. Kelly inhaled slowly, the guilt settling deeper. I'm so sorry you felt that way. Truly. But Trisha wasn't done. She spoke about how media, figures, often unintentionally, fuel the public's obsession with celebrities, personal lives. She explained the emotional toll of having strangers online speculate about her weight, marriage, career choices, and aging. Every time you put up a photo and start analyzing it, she said, you don't see the look on my husband's face when he wonders why people think we're drifting apart. You don't hear the comments I get from people who think they know me better than I know myself. Kelly had no defense left. She looked small, shaken, and vulnerable. For perhaps the first time on her own show, she had no ready response. No charming remark, no warm transition. She simply whispered, I never meant to hurt you. Trisha's voice softened, though the pain was still visible. I know, but this isn't just about you. It's about the entire industry. Camera operators zoomed in, sensing the emotional gravity of the moment. Producers exchanged panicked looks behind the scenes. But neither woman cared. They were locked into a conversation that had been waiting to happen for years. The studio audience didn't dare move. Kelly's voice shook as she finally spoke again. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't we talk about this privately? Trisha let out a humorless laugh. I tried, Kelly. I called your production office. I emailed. My publicist reached out. Every time, I was told you were too busy or unavailable. Kelly's eyes widened. She looked genuinely stunned. I never got those messages. Maybe you didn't, Trisha replied softly. But your team did. And when they brushed me off, I realized something. This wasn't a simple misunderstanding. This was a pattern. She took a breath, steadying herself. I've spent 20 years smiling through interviews, laughing at jokes, playing along, letting things slide. But I'm done pretending it doesn't affect me. Kelly nodded slowly, tears forming again. You're right, she said. I've used my platform without thinking about the weight of my words. I've talked about people's lives without considering the people behind the stories. Trisha's expression softened, not out of forgiveness, but understanding. It's not just you. It's the entire culture. We treat celebrities like characters. But we're not characters. We're human. The audience listened with reverence, as if witnessing a shift in the fabric of daytime television itself. Kelly wiped her face. How do I fix this? How do we do better? You start, Trisha said, by remembering that every comment matters. Every joke, every speculation. Because someone is watching. Someone who might be hurting. Someone who didn't ask to be picked apart. Kelly lowered her gaze. I want to be better. I want to change. Trisha stood, removing her mic gently. Then start by choosing empathy over entertainment. And by asking yourself one simple question. Would I want someone to say this about me? If the answer is no, don't say it. Before she stepped off stage, she looked directly into the camera. To everyone watching, celebrities are real people. Treat them with the same compassion you'd want for your own family. The room was silent as she walked away. Kelly remained seated, processing everything. A woman changed. A host humbled. A show forever altered. The moment would be replayed for years. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. And in an industry built on illusion, honesty was the most shocking thing of all.